Have you lost your faith in humanity? I know I have. Let's fix that with another episode of Extremely Happy Stories. Oh my gosh, look at this. After their flights were canceled, they spent 24 hours falling in love. Is this a recent photo? It looks like it's from the 80s. Sometimes you have to miss a connection to make a connection. I see what you did there. And if that's not a wise old adage yet, it should be. Yes, it should be. That was a good one. That was clever. That was clever. Wait, I gotta. That was clever. I like it. For two Wayland airline passengers stuck in the wintry weather at a Toronto airport in 2003. I thought that photo was old, but it wasn't the 80s. I mean, the 80s is a long time ago. That was exaggeration. It wasn't an earnest attempt at trying to ascertain the date of this particular photoage. I just knew that it was a long time ago because that don't look like 2023 cell phone data. You know what I mean? Their canceled flights turned into a layover of love at the first sight. Whoever's writing this is having a lot of fun right now. Little did Jennifer Lothar, then 29, realize she was about to meet her knight in shining armor. All she knew that morning, as she hunkered down in tears, was that she was about to miss her best friend's wedding. Oh, that's terrible news. My goodness. I mean, yes. I was cold, alone, vulnerable, experiencing heartache at being separated from my very best friend. I need something. I need someone to help make this a better day. I'm here for love. I'm here for love. The nuptials, at which Jennifer was supposed to serve as master of ceremonies, knowing that she had responsibilities, was set to take place in her hometown of Winnipeg the following day, but with the snow closing in and no flights going out, it looked as if the cause was lost. Enter 34-year-old Chris Powell, a veteran business traveler. Veteran? Dude, you're 34. A veteran business traveler for whom scheduling snafus were just a part of the game. Waiting out the delay in the airport lounge, Chris noticed Jennifer's distress. Hear, hear, fair damsel. I am a veteran business traveler. How might I assuage your distress? Winning her over with his dry wit. Yep, there we go. Jennifer was soon sitting with a group of other stranded souls, sharing their stories, venting their frustrations, and imbibing an adult beverage or two as the day passed. Although romance was the last thing on his mind, Chris felt an instant rapport with the woman he'd found crying in her breakfast, and Jennifer felt it as well. Was she like face down in the breakfast, like, hello? There's like grits in her eyelashes and like egg yolk running down her hair. The waiting vigil became an impromptu party, with Chris and Jennifer serving as the de facto host and hostess. Sharing banter and making jokes helped everyone pass the time. Even though they just met, others who later joined the group assumed they were a couple. Meanwhile, the two travelers who just met were beginning to feel like they'd known one another forever. Isn't that just how it goes? Isn't that just how it goes? So when 4 o'clock rolled around and the last flight to Winnipeg was canceled, unable to bear Jennifer's devastation, Chris was determined to move heaven and earth to make sure his newfound soulmate would be there when her best friend tied the knot. Because, fair lady, I am a veteran business traveler. I'm not gonna let that one go now. He's a There weren't any flights to her destination, so what were the alternatives? Chris was booked on a 9 p.m. flight to Vancouver. If Jennifer went there as well, even though it was out of her way by 2 hours, she would be able to backtrack to Winnipeg in time to make the wedding. Wait, that was a question? Sorry, I butchered that sentence, whatever. With a stopover the following morning in Edmonton, it would be cutting it close, but if all went according to plan, it was doable. I don't know why I'm putting on this nice and shining armor voice, because it's fun, yes it is. At 9 o'clock that night, the pair boarded the Vancouver-bound plane. They even managed to get seats together. From there, the romance really took off, with a kiss right out of the movies. What the heck? We actually kissed the whole way to Vancouver, just sort of enamored with each other. I mean, this is a whirlwind. I get you're lost in the moment. Veteran business travel man has swept crying breakfast girl off of her soup but kissing all through the flight, that's super weird. Don't do that to the people around you. No one wants the discomfort of having to ignore that for an entire flight. Do they serve food and beverage on said flight? Do they give you snacks? Do you have to interrupt sucking each other's faces off to get a glass of water to parch your dry throats? Like, what's happening? I mean, you know, whatever, it's love. It's love, y'all. You can't come against love. That's all we're saying. Once in Vancouver, the exhausted traveler, oh, that's right, you're exhausted from business travel, man, crashed with one of Chris's friends. After a few short hours of sleep, Jennifer had to be on her way again, but not before she and Chris swapped their contact info and made plans to meet up when they were back in Toronto. With a 1 p.m. touchdown in Winnipeg, Jennifer had a scant hour to make it to the church on time, but fellow passengers on the flight, who'd been regaled with her Herculean exploits thus far, cleared the aisles for her and cheered her on as she sped off the plane. Let's go, let's go! Dashing to her parents' car with barely enough time to make herself presentable, her dad somehow managed to drop her off just at the stroke of 2. Both Jennifer and the bride, who feared her best friend was about to miss her big day, were overcome with emotion, while her ex-boyfriend was at the ceremony. What? And she toyed with the idea of making another go of it. What? You just had this whirlwind romance and you're about to throw away business travel veteran man for this leftover squash? Girl, you riding on that high of like, I've got some good odds going right now. You know, I was able to catch veteran business travel man with my egg face and my grit hair, and you know, maybe I could just. She's riding on this high, man. She's trying to. She's riding this high. Okay, listen. Jennifer says she realized while she'd only just met him that her destiny and her future belonged not with someone from her past, but with Chris. 3 months later, they were engaged. They married in 2004. This storybook tale has an especially poignant twist since Jennifer, who'd been treated for cervical cancer at age 19, was told she'd never be able to conceive. And, getting peed on by the ceiling here. And, just as he'd never really thought about getting married before he met Jennifer, Chris hadn't really planned on being a dad either. When the couple learned that she was pregnant with their first child, it came as a surprise to both of them. But a happy one. Oh my goodness, look at frickin' them. The birth of their son Spencer was followed by that of his sister Lauren a few years later. The children, now in their teens, share a special bond with their parents, forged in part during the 9-month round-the-world trip the family embarked on 5 years ago that took them to such far-off sites as Sri Lanka and Argentina. Oh, while Chris and Jennifer might have met under circumstances straight out of a Hallmark made-for-TV movie, after 18 years, it looks as if they've still got a firm foothold on their happily ever after. Although both have changed and matured through the years, they say humor and being willing to go the extra mile for one another are still the defining factors of their marriage. Y'all, effort is required to keep relationships. You don't just fall in love. Because if you fall in love, that means you have no agency and you can't stay in love. But you know what? Love isn't a feeling. Love is an action. You have to put forth action to get things like happy marriages. You gotta do that thing. Let go. And no matter what force brought them together for their airport meet cute that day, they're both grateful. It was, I don't know, cosmic alignment. Call it what you will. Call it kismet, but it was amazing. Chris told CNN, I'm lucky it happened to me. Thanks, fate. So far, so good. What a guy thing to say. So far, so good. Got this whirlwind romance. Got 2 miracle kids. We done traveled around the world, married for 18 years. I mean, so far so good. You know, you never know. What a guy. We all need to pick me up in this cold, cruel world. So spread the happy. Share this video with somebody who needs it. And subscribe so I can keep filling up your stinky black hearts with warm, fuzzy sunshine. Love y'all. Bye.